Will Trump commit this latest folly? All the leaked reports confirm that America is no longer seeking victory, but is now only looking for a way out of this predicament. Iran succeeded in trapping the world's #1 superpower in this snare, the trap of attrition. What is the secret behind the 10 nuclear bombs that could change the map of the Middle East in a single moment? Why is Iran classified as a future graveyard for Marines? And which African country has announced its readiness to enter this war in defense of Israel? We will talk about all these topics today, but after this break, stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our program today, God willing, in this episode of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to following the latest developments in this war taking place in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. What is clear today, dear viewers, is that America is still experiencing confusion and a great deal of instability, especially after receiving this Iranian response rejecting negotiations. Because this Iranian rejection was not expected by Trump or the American administration. They thought that Iran would agree to negotiate on these 15 points that America proposed, which, as I showed you in the previous episode, are considered terms of surrender, and the victorious party cannot surrender. Therefore, America continues today with these military preparations as if a major strike will hit Iran in the coming days. The American website Axios said that up until today, America is still studying how it can carry out a decisive strike. Will that be by occupying Karg Island? Will that be by occupying Larak Island? Or by controlling the Hormuz Strait? Or will it just be by carrying out another air raid similar to the one last June with the B-2 strategic bomber? It's clear that Trump is in real trouble. He doesn't know exactly how he can end this war. He wants to withdraw from this war, but he hasn't found a way yet. How will he withdraw? I explained to you in yesterday's episode. It's clear that deploying ground forces on the islands or on Iranian territory in general is impossible. It's like sending these forces to their death, and the Iranian army is eagerly waiting for this today. Also talking about these ground forces and it was reported in the media that they were sent to this area, but due to the distance they won't arrive until after mid-April. And in fact they are small forces, which means they won't be able to hold out. Some military experts in America say that the success of any ground operation would require mobilizing at least 1 million soldiers. Given these Iranian military capabilities that we've discussed in several episodes, America would need 1 million soldiers to succeed in a ground operation. In 2003, when it invaded Iraqi territory, it did so with 700,000 soldiers, and at that time Iraq only had 200,000 soldiers. And this Iraqi army had no military equipment because of the sanctions that were imposed and other reasons, and it had no external support from any side, not from Russia, which was weak at the time, nor from China either. Because today, it is definitely not the Iraq of 2003. Therefore, I believe that all this talk today about this ground operation is just military propaganda aimed at putting pressure on Iran. The only thing left and possible for Trump today is to carry out a large-scale airstrike. A large-scale airstrike he can capitalize on. Trump presents it as a kind of victory for America, claiming that it has achieved the objectives of this war, and therefore immediately announces the end of this war. The American President Trump posted a new tweet on social media in which he warned Iran that time is running out. Either you sit at the negotiating table as soon as possible, or a crushing response will come from America. That's what he said, meaning that Iran has to act before it's too late. Also, almost the same statement came today from the White House spokesperson, who said that Trump is ready to deliver a stronger strike than ever before if an agreement is not reached. What's strange is that Trump talked about qualities that he himself has. Qualities that he and America have, but he attributed them to Iran. He accused Iran of things he himself does. He said that the Iranians are begging him to make a deal because Iran is totally devastated. And he said that despite that, they publicly declare that they refuse and are still studying this American proposal. In reality, dear viewers, it's clear to everyone today that the opposite is what we're witnessing. Trump is the one begging. America is suffering. They want to stop the war as soon as possible. They can't withstand further attrition. And today it's America that's begging Iran to stop this war. And they even send mediators to them for that purpose, like mediators from Pakistan and Turkey. And despite that, Trump is setting impossible terms for the agreement. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, said it clearly. He said that Iran is exchanging messages with the mediators, but this does not mean at all that there are negotiations. That's what he said. Meaning, for example, America sends a request to Pakistan, Pakistan communicates with the Iranians about this American request, then Iran responds, and so on. This is how the communication happens. This does not mean at all that there are negotiations. The important thing is that it's clear today there will be no negotiations at all this week, and maybe there won't be any negotiations at all. In this way, Iran is victorious in this war. Whoever wants to stop the war must accept reality and surrender, not make impossible suggestions. Today, Iran is dealing with these developments in a way that confirms it is the victorious party, and up until now, it continues to achieve ongoing military successes. That means every day there's an event, every day there's a breakthrough. Yesterday, we saw how an F-18 plane was shot down. We followed the news about the American aircraft carrier Lincoln fleeing the battlefield again after it was targeted again last night. How were headquarters in Haifa port successfully struck? The Iranian army relies on a new missile strategy that enables it to discover new gaps in the Israeli air defense systems every day. This means that every day there are losses, there are more and more direct hits. But we always find that there is a lot of secrecy on the part of the Israelis, and we talked about this in a series of episodes. Pay close attention if Hamas has changed Netanyahu and Israel. Iran is a pariah state today, and in fact Trump and America have also become pariah states. Today, Iran is achieving a strategic and historic victory. In reality, there is absolutely no solution left for America. Trump was in trouble even before this war began, because he had built up a large military presence in the region, and in the end, Iran did not give in. So America got involved in this war, and he wasn't able to start this war, but after that, he entered the war and got even more entangled. Today, Trump's predicament has become bigger and bigger. Pay close attention. Trump is no longer able to retreat, nor able to launch a ground invasion, nor even able to achieve a fake victory. The plans he had for this war have failed, and he failed to find allies for himself. Even NATO did not stand with him. He failed to draw the Gulf states, Turkey and Azerbaijan into the war, and even India, Israel's ally, avoided getting involved in this war. So Trump, in reality, if he takes any further escalatory step, he will find himself in an even bigger predicament. And what did he say today? He said that Iran has a last chance, meaning after this chance there will be no negotiations. In reality, he is the one who wants to create this opportunity. He is the one who wants to find a way out. So, I'm not saying there won't be a ground war. I'm not saying that. It's very possible that Trump could get more and more entangled just like he got involved in this war. That's why I say if this happens, Iranian soil will become a new graveyard for American soldiers. This war has even shattered Trump's popularity inside America after the successful Venezuela operation and the arrest of Maduro. Maybe there was a great sense of victory for Trump. There was pride in American power, and he talked about a new weapon and so on. And he was using that to gain more popularity inside America. But today, as I always say and keep repeating, Iran is not Venezuela. He entered this war to get full support from the Zionists in the upcoming elections in November, the midterm elections for Congress. But what is happening today is the opposite, and entering this war has been disastrous for his popularity. A number of opinion polls in America all showed that only about 36 or 37% of the American people are satisfied with Trump's performance. That means they are satisfied with Trump. More than 60% oppose Trump. And the longer this war continues, the more Trump's popularity declines at home. So the pressure today is not on Iran. That's what's new. Today the pressure is not on Iran. Iran is in a comfortable position today. Trump is the one under real pressure. And the British newspaper The Guardian confirmed this. It said that Trump is under great pressure, internal pressure, pressure from Netanyahu, pressure from the American and international media, and military pressure. It has reached the point where he is no longer able to make any decisions. This war will have very significant repercussions today. The latest news says that Iran has started considering the possibility of withdrawing from the nuclear non-proliferation treaty. On what grounds? On the grounds that joining this treaty is no longer of any benefit and Iran has not gained anything from it at all. Because the main goal of such treaties is to support countries in producing and using peaceful nuclear energy and to ensure that this nuclear energy will remain peaceful. However, we find here that other countries like Israel, for example, have not joined this treaty, and there is no pressure or even any demand for them to join this treaty. And we find that a country not party to this treaty wages war on a country that is a member of this treaty under the pretext that it is developing nuclear weapons. This is strange and completely illogical. And we find that individuals from the International Atomic Energy Agency come to monitor nuclear energy facilities. So what does this show? Spies who report to America and Israel about the locations of the weapons. What is that? Intelligence? As happened with Iraq during the time of Saddam Hussein, and this was admitted by them, so now Iran is studying the possibility of withdrawing from this treaty. If this happens, it may be the first step toward Iran announcing its possession of nuclear weapons. We might witness after that, or maybe before, a fatwa issued by the new supreme leader. Suspicious. Mine permits the production of nuclear weapons as a deterrent weapon. Today, according to all international reports, Iran has 440 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%. And what do the international data say? They say that each nuclear missile only needs 43 kilograms of uranium enriched to this level, which means that Iran can currently produce 10 nuclear missiles. No one in the world can know what is happening right now in these underground nuclear cities in Iran. We've been living for almost a month since the beginning of this war, a whole month, and no one knows exactly what was happening there or what is happening there now. So maybe these nuclear bombs are ready, maybe they are being prepared right now. Today, there is talk about the possibility of withdrawing from this treaty. Maybe it's just to test the public's reaction. There's no smoke without fire. Maybe it's just to test the public's reaction. Or preparing the public for what's coming, for what Iran might do if things escalate further. Also today, one of the strange pieces of news today was that the commander of an African army, the commander of the army in Uganda, announced today the readiness of the Ugandan army to fight alongside Israel in defense of Israel. The Ugandan army commander said, "We want to end this war in the Middle East immediately," as if he was threatening, "We want to end this war in the Middle East right now." And he said that any talk about the defeat of Israel will make us enter this war in its defense, as if he means a great power will enter this war. The matter is strange because, first of all, Uganda is a small, poor African country with a very weak army. It ranks at the bottom globally in the classification of the strongest armies, around 107th in the world. As far as I know, it barely has about 50,000 soldiers, and it doesn't have any advanced weapons at all. But what does it have? It has a large population with more than 50 million people, which means it might be able to form a force of mercenaries. But for this to happen, it's not easy. Uganda will need a long time to open camps, provide the necessary military training, and so on. Then after that, it will need significant logistical means to transport these forces to the Middle East. How will that be done? The country is landlocked and has no sea access. Transporting the forces will be done by military cargo planes. These are all factors and operations that can't be done in practice. The statement is simply a political message that Uganda sent to further strengthen its relationship with Israel. To put it bluntly, after this war ends, they're saying, "We stood by you and gave you enough support, so you should return the favor and support us even more than you do now." Just so everyone knows, the relationship between Uganda and Israel is a strong one, because Israel provides military training services to the Ugandan army, supports it with military expertise, and supplies it with military equipment. So today, Uganda wants to increase the level of this support, and it's trying to show that it's ready to fight for Israel. But in practice, of course, this is impossible, so news like this doesn't get any media attention at all. We don't see it on news TV channels or anywhere else. The only thing these statements caused, and only internally among the Ugandan people, is that today there is a division between those who support and those who oppose this statement. And the country has about 20% Muslims and about 70% Christians, so it's inevitable that this topic will stir things up and cause disputes and so on. That's all we had for today. Remember to like. Peace be upon you, God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.